Venice, 1453. In a dimly lit warehouse by the Grand Canal, an Italian merchant unwraps a luminous bundle with trembling hands. The salt-laden breeze carries the mingled scents of exotic spices and sea air as he carefully unfolds the precious cargo. His eyes gleam with wonderment, reflecting the subtle sheen of his prize. This is no ordinary fabric. This is pure Chinese silk, a textile so precious that its worth rivals its weight in gold. The merchant's calloused fingers trace the impossibly smooth surface of the silk, each thread a testament to ancient secrets from distant lands. What he couldn't know, as he stood there in that moment, was that he was about to witness one of the greatest commercial revolutions in modern history. How did a simple thread become the catalyst that reshaped empires? What mysterious force could transform a delicate fabric into a power that forged and broke alliances, built vast fortunes, and forever altered the relationship between East and West? This is no ordinary trade story. This is a tale of ambition, luxury, and power that stretched across continents and centuries. This is the story of how silk became more than just a commodity. It became the thread that wove together two worlds, creating a tapestry of cultural exchange that would forever change the course of history. From the secretive workshops of ancient China to the opulent palaces of European royalty, silk wrote its story in the finest threads imaginable. Throughout our journey, we'll uncover tales of daring merchants who risked everything on perilous trade routes, of royal intrigue and industrial espionage, and of how a luxury once reserved for emperors transformed the very fabric of society. This is more than just a story about textile. It's an epic saga of human ingenuity, greed, and the relentless pursuit of beauty. Join us as we unravel this remarkable story thread by thread. From the bustling ports of Venice to the mysterious cities along the Silk Road, we'll discover how this precious fabric became the catalyst for one of history's most fascinating commercial revolutions. Welcome to a tale of enduring legacy, where every thread tells a story of ambition, innovation, and transformation. If you're passionate about uncovering the mysteries and revolutions of the modern age, take a moment to like and subscribe to Modern Age Chronicles. Together, let's embark on a journey through history as you've never experienced it before. Giovanni della Valle stands at the heart of our tale, a Venetian merchant whose life embodies the transformative power of the silk trade. Born into the modest quarters of Venice's merchant district in 1425, Giovanni's story begins in his father's small textile shop. Through determination and cunning, he built an empire that would rival the greatest trading houses of the Renaissance. His surviving letters, penned in elegant Italian script, reveal a man torn between ambition and caution. In one particularly poignant passage written in 1456, he confides to his brother, "The silks of Cathay beckon with promises of fortunes, yet each voyage carries the weight of our family's future. The pirates lurk like shadows on the horizon, but the promise of silk's golden touch drives us ever forward." Across the vast expanse of Asia, Empress Wu Zetian emerges as a fascinating counterpoint to our Venetian merchant. The only woman to rule China as an emperor in her own right, she understood silk's power as both a luxury and a weapon. Under her reign, silk production remained China's most closely guarded secret, with stories telling of spies being executed for attempting to smuggle silkworm eggs beyond the empire's borders. Her imperial edicts reveal a ruler who masterfully wielded silk in diplomatic relations. When receiving Byzantine ambassadors in 692 AD, she presented them with silk so fine it could pass through a golden ring, yet withheld the knowledge of its creation. Her diplomatic correspondence shows a careful balance between promoting trade and protecting China's monopoly. François Bernier brings our story into the heart of the 17th century. This French physician and explorer ventured where few Europeans dared, documenting the intricate web of silk trade routes through Central Asia. His detailed journals, published as Travels in the Mughal Empire, opened European eyes to the complexity of Asian commerce. Bernier's accounts sparkle with detailed observations of silk production techniques witnessed in his travels. In one memorable passage, he describes watching silk workers in Kashmir. Their fingers move with such precision and grace. It appears as though they are conducting an orchestra of threads, each movement calculated and perfect. His writings became required reading in French commercial circles, influencing trading strategies and diplomatic approaches. His detailed maps of trade routes and documentation of local customs provided European merchants with invaluable insights for navigating the complex world of Asian commerce. These three figures, each from different corners of the silk trade, represent the complex interplay of commerce, culture, and power that define this remarkable period. Through their eyes, we witness the transformation of silk from a closely guarded Chinese secret to a global commodity that would reshape the world's economy. Their personal struggles, ambitions, and achievements mirror the larger story of silk itself, a tale of tradition meeting innovation, of East meeting West, and of how the desire for beauty and luxury drove human ingenuity to new heights. In their combined legacy, we see the full tapestry of the silk trade, its risks and rewards, its secrets and revelations, and its lasting impact on global commerce and culture. The dawn breaks over the maritime republic of Venice, painting the lagoon in hues of amber and gold. Along the bustling Riva degli Schiavoni, merchant vessels from distant lands crowd the docks, their wooden hulls creaking against the moorings. The air is thick with the calls of sailors speaking a dozen languages, from gruff Venetian dialect to melodic Arabic and the harsh consonants of Germanic tongues. In the shadows of the towering warehouses, porters shuffle back and forth carrying precious cargo. The massive wooden doors of these fondici stand open, revealing caverns of exotic treasures. Rolls of silk in impossible colors catch the morning light, deep crimson from Damascus, ethereal azure from Constantinople, and the legendary golden silk from distant Cathay. The warehouses hold a fortune in textiles, each bolt carefully recorded in the meticulous ledgers of Venetian merchants. The air itself tells a story of Venice's maritime empire. The briny scent of the Adriatic mingles with the sharp bite of pepper from Malabar, the sweet perfume of cinnamon from Ceylon, and the musty aroma of frankincense from Arabia. In the narrow calle nearby, the workshops of silk dyers release clouds of steam tinged with indigo and madder root. Along the Grand Canal, nobles glide by in ornate gondolas, their silk garments shimmering in the sunlight. A senator's wife reclines under a crimson parasol, her gown of Chinese silk damask marking her husband's wealth and influence. Young patricians gather on marble balconies, their slashed sleeves and fitted doublets of Italian woven silk announcing their status to all who pass below. Far from Venice's watery streets, caravans wind their way across the vastness of the Gobi Desert. The silence is absolute save for the steady rhythm of camel hooves and the soft jingle of bells. Merchant masters consult ancient charts, reading the stars and watching for landmarks that have guided traders for centuries. Their precious cargo of silk is carefully wrapped in oiled cloth and leather, protected from the scouring sand and sudden cloudbursts. At the oasis cities, these caravans find respite and commerce. Samarkand's bazaars echo with a symphony of languages. Persian merchants haggle with Chinese traders, while Mongol guards watch over Russian fur dealers and Arab spice sellers. The air is rich with the scent of roasting meat, fresh bread, and exotic perfumes. In covered markets, silk merchants demonstrate their wares' quality with ancient tests. Genuine silk passes through a gold ring, burns with a specific scent, and bears microscopic patterns that only expert eyes can verify. As night falls over the desert trading posts, merchants gather in candlelit caravanserais to share tales of the road. They speak of sandstorms that can strip a camel's hide, of bandits hiding in mountain passes, and of rival traders who would kill for the secrets of silk production. The silk itself travels in special cases, protected from moisture by layers of waxed cloth and carefully monitored for signs of damage or decay. These precious bundles are the culmination of a journey that began in the mulberry groves of China and will end in the opulent palaces of Europe, transforming every society they touch along the way. In the mist-shrouded valleys of ancient China, a secret was born that would shape the destiny of nations. For over 3,000 years, the Chinese Empire guarded the mystery of silk production with unprecedented vigilance. Imperial edicts proclaimed death to anyone who dared reveal the secrets of the silkworm, establishing the most valuable monopoly in human history. In the imperial courts of the Han Dynasty, silk was more than mere fabric, it was power incarnate. Emperors used it as currency, paying their officials in measured lengths of silk. The imperial workshops hummed day and night with the labor of countless artisans, each sworn to secrecy, each contributing to China's most precious commodity. As silk's reputation spread across continents, a vast network of trade routes emerged, stretching from the Pacific shores to the Mediterranean Sea. Intrepid merchants braved scorching deserts, treacherous mountain passes, and pirate-infested seas to transport this precious cargo. The Silk Road became more than a trade route. It transformed into a living artery of cultural exchange. In bustling trading posts from Samarkand to Constantinople, silk became the catalyst for unprecedented cultural fusion. Buddhist monks traveled alongside Arab merchants, while Persian astronomers exchanged knowledge with Chinese scholars. Each caravan carried not just silk, but ideas, technologies, and beliefs that would reshape the medieval world. The most dramatic chapter in Silk's story unfolds in 552 AD, when two Nestorian monks appeared at the court of Emperor Justinian I in Constantinople. Hidden within their hollow walking sticks was a treasure beyond price: silkworm eggs and mulberry seeds, smuggled out of China at tremendous risk. This act of industrial espionage would shatter China's monopoly forever. Across Byzantium, secret workshops sprang up as the empire raced to master silk production. The Chinese monopoly, maintained for millennia through strict laws and careful surveillance, began to crumble. The race for silk supremacy had begun, spawning a wave of industrial espionage that would span centuries. As silk production spread across the Mediterranean and into Europe, a remarkable transformation began. Cities like Venice, Florence, and Lyon became new centers of silk production, each developing their unique styles and techniques. The once imperial fabric gradually became accessible to merchants, skilled artisans, and eventually the emerging middle class. Innovation flourished as European weavers combined Chinese techniques with local traditions. New patterns emerged, prices began to fall, and silk started appearing in the wardrobes of prosperous merchants and skilled craftsmen. The democratization of silk marked more than an economic change. It signaled a fundamental shift in how society viewed luxury and status. Today, the story of silk continues to evolve. Modern production methods have made silk more accessible than ever, yet it retains its aura of luxury and refinement. The ancient trade routes have given way to global supply chains, but silk's journey from its Chinese origins to global commodity remains one of history's most fascinating tales of innovation, ambition, and cultural exchange. What began as a closely guarded secret in ancient China became a force that connected continents, toppled monopolies, and transformed societies. The story of silk is, in many ways, the story of civilization itself, a narrative of how human ingenuity, courage, and the pursuit of beauty can reshape the world. The legacy of this remarkable journey surrounds us still, woven into the fabric of our global economy and cultural exchange. In every piece of silk worn today lies an echo of this epic tale, a reminder of how a simple thread once changed the course of human history. The tale of silk's journey through history is preserved in an extraordinary collection of primary sources, each offering unique insights into this remarkable trade. Let us examine the most compelling pieces of historical evidence that illuminate this fascinating story. In his manuscript Il Milione, later known as The Travels of Marco Polo, the famous Venetian merchant provides unprecedented details about the silk trade. His descriptions of Chinese silk production are particularly revealing. In the province of Cathay lies a city called Kinsay, where countless artisans work in silence, tending to creatures no larger than a finger's length, yet more precious than gold itself. In a particularly detailed passage, Polo describes the imperial silk workshops. Within these walls, thousands of skilled hands work the finest threads imaginable. The emperor maintains strict control over every aspect of production, from the cultivation of mulberry trees to the final weaving of imperial garments. The methods they employ are guarded more preciously than state secrets. The meticulously maintained ledgers of the Venetian Republic provide a wealth of quantitative evidence. The Quaderni di Mercanti, merchants' notebooks, from the Fondaco dei Tedeschi reveal precise pricing structures and trading volumes. One notable entry from 1432 records, 500 braccia of Damascus silk, valued at 3,200 ducats, received from the merchant Giovanni Badoer, taxes paid in full. The Book of Accounts from the Mocenigo family archive details specific transactions. Anno Domini 1445, delivered to the royal court of France. 12 rolls of crimson silk damask, each measuring 20 braccia, total value 1,800 ducats, commissioned by special request of the Dauphin. In the climate-controlled vaults of various European museums lie precious fragments of 15th-century silk that tell their own stories. The Victoria and Albert Museum houses an exceptional collection of Venetian silk brocades, their colors still vibrant after 5 centuries. Analysis of these fabrics reveals sophisticated weaving techniques that combine Chinese methods with European innovations. A particularly significant piece, known as the Bernabo silk, discovered in a Milanese tomb, shows the transition between Eastern and Western production methods. Its unique weave pattern demonstrates how European weavers adapted and modified Chinese techniques to create their own distinctive styles. The portolan charts of the Venetian Republic offer invaluable insights into the maritime silk routes. The famous Framaro map of 1459 details not only the primary shipping lanes, but also notes specific ports where silk merchants were known to gather. Here at Alexandria gather the merchants of silk and spices, their vessels protected by the Sultan's guard. The Carte de Navigar, navigation maps, of Pietro Vescante from the early 14th century mark specific silk trading posts along the Mediterranean coast, complete with notations about safe harbors and dangerous reefs. These maps often include detailed annotations about local customs, taxes, and the best seasons for trading. The diplomatic archives of Venice contain countless letters and treaties relating to the silk trade. A particularly revealing document from 1423 details negotiations between Venice and the Byzantine Empire regarding silk tariffs. Let it be known that vessels carrying raw silk from Constantinople shall pay a duty of 2%, while worked silk shall be taxed at 5%. Recent archaeological discoveries continue to add to our understanding. Excavations along the Silk Road have unearthed silk fragments preserved in the arid conditions of Central Asia. Carbon dating and molecular analysis of these fragments have helped scholars reconstruct the evolution of silk production techniques and trade patterns. A particularly significant find in 2018 near Samarkand revealed silk fragments with unique hybrid patterns, suggesting an earlier date for the fusion of Chinese and Persian textile techniques than previously thought. These primary sources, when woven together, create a rich tapestry of evidence that allows us to reconstruct the complex story of silk's journey from an imperial Chinese monopoly to a global commodity. Each document, map, and preserved fragment adds another thread to our understanding of this remarkable history. The silk trade catalyzed unprecedented economic changes that would reshape the medieval world into early modern Europe. In the shadows of Gothic cathedrals, a financial revolution was quietly unfolding. Venice's Rialto Bank, established to handle the enormous wealth generated by silk trading, pioneered modern banking practices. Letters of credit, double-entry bookkeeping, and maritime insurance emerged as essential tools of commerce. The Medici Bank in Florence, largely built on silk profits, created the first international banking network, connecting London to Constantinople through a web of financial relationships. By 1450, new financial instruments had emerged specifically for the silk trade. The cambium maritimum, a sophisticated form of maritime loan, allowed merchants to finance silk shipments while circumventing religious restrictions on usury. Venetian banks developed the first futures contracts, allowing merchants to hedge against price fluctuations in raw silk. The complexity of the silk trade gave birth to entirely new professions. Expert silk graders emerged, capable of determining a fabric's origin and quality with remarkable precision. Specialized silk brokers acted as intermediaries between Eastern suppliers and European buyers. The Psitaioli, silk guild masters, became among the most powerful figures in Italian cities. The silk trade fundamentally altered the economic relationship between Europe and Asia. Initially, European gold flowed eastward in exchange for silk, creating a significant trade deficit. This spurred European nations to develop their own silk production capabilities and seek new sources of precious metals, ultimately contributing to the age of exploration. The availability of silk transformed European fashion from the courts to the streets. What began as a royal privilege gradually became accessible to wealthy merchants, creating new social dynamics. The sumptuary laws of the 15th century, attempting to restrict silk wearing to nobility, reveal the fabric's power to blur traditional social boundaries. A Venetian observer in 1474 noted, "Now even the baker's wife wears silk sleeves, while 20 years past such garments were reserved for duchesses." This democratization of luxury challenged traditional social hierarchies and created new markers of status based on wealth rather than birth. The silk trade created a new urban elite, the merchant entrepreneurs who combined commercial acumen with cultural sophistication. These novi homines, new men, built palaces, patronized artists, and eventually married into noble families, forever changing the social fabric of European society. In Florence, the Arte della Seta, silk guild, became so powerful that its members frequently held high political offices. The silk merchants of Lyon transformed a provincial French town into a cultural and economic powerhouse, creating a new model of urban development. The spread of silk production techniques from east to west sparked a broader technological revolution. The mechanical innovations developed for silk spinning and weaving laid the groundwork for the Industrial Revolution centuries later. The introduction of the Italian draw loom, evolved from Chinese designs, revolutionized textile production across Europe. The silk trade facilitated unprecedented cultural exchange. European artisans learned ancient Chinese techniques while developing their own innovations. Arabic mathematical knowledge, essential for complex weaving patterns, spread through silk-producing cities. The trade fostered multilingualism and cultural literacy among merchant classes. The economic and social changes driven by the silk trade had lasting effects that extended far beyond commerce. The need for educated merchants led to the establishment of commercial schools and the spread of practical mathematics. The abacus schools of Florence and Venice created a new model of practical education that would influence European pedagogy for centuries. Cities transformed to accommodate the silk trade. New architectural forms emerged, from specialized warehouses to merchant palaces. The need for clean water in silk processing led to innovative urban water management systems. The silk trade fostered new forms of international diplomacy. Cities developed sophisticated diplomatic corps to negotiate trade rights and resolve disputes. The concept of permanent ambassadors largely evolved from the need to protect silk trade interests abroad. The desire to understand and improve silk production spurred advances in biology, chemistry, and mechanics. Early scientific treatises on sericulture laid the groundwork for modern agricultural science. The impact of the silk trade continues to resonate in modern times. Today's global financial systems, international trade protocols, and even fashion industry practices can trace their roots to innovations spurred by the medieval silk trade. The transformation it triggered, from feudal economies to market-based systems, from rigid social hierarchies to more fluid ones, helped shape the modern world. The silk trade served as a catalyst for some of history's most significant technological leaps, transforming both East and West through continuous innovation and exchange. The evolution of weaving technology marked a crucial turning point in industrial history. The introduction of the Italian drawloom in the 14th century, inspired by Chinese designs but enhanced with European innovations, revolutionized textile production. This sophisticated machine could create complex patterns using a system of weighted cords and pulleys, allowing a single weaver to produce intricate designs that previously required multiple artisans. In Venice, the Alla Veneziana loom introduced automated pattern repetition, a breakthrough that would later influence the development of early computing concepts. By 1450, Florence's silk workshops had developed the first mechanical shuttle system, dramatically increasing production speed while maintaining exceptional quality. The quest for perfect color led to remarkable advances in chemistry. Venetian dye masters developed new mordant techniques that produced colors of unprecedented brilliance and durability. The famous Venetian scarlet required a complex process involving Kermes insects and unique mineral fixatives, creating a red so vivid it became synonymous with power and wealth. In the workshops of Florence, artisans discovered that combining different mordants could produce entirely new colors, leading to the first systematic approach to color theory in textile production. The development of double dyeing techniques allowed for subtle color gradations previously thought impossible. The demands of the silk trade spurred remarkable advances in maritime technology. Venetian shipwrights developed the first specialized merchant galleys with reinforced holds to protect delicate silk cargo. New methods of celestial navigation emerged, while cartographers created increasingly accurate maps incorporating wind patterns and seasonal currents. The famous portolan charts of the Mediterranean, with their innovative windrows networks, allowed merchants to plot more efficient routes. By 1400, Venetian charts included detailed information about safe harbors, dangerous reefs, and optimal sailing seasons specifically related to silk transportation. The complexity of silk trade financing led to revolutionary developments in banking. The first bill of exchange was developed specifically for silk merchants, allowing them to transfer large sums without physically moving gold. Double-entry bookkeeping, pioneered by Venetian silk merchants, transformed commercial accounting and remains fundamental to modern business practices. The influence of Eastern aesthetics on European art was profound and far-reaching. Italian painters began incorporating Chinese-inspired silk patterns into their works, while European textile designers embraced Oriental motifs. The famous pomegranate pattern, combining Persian and Chinese elements with European sensibilities, became a symbol of this cultural fusion. In Venice's workshops, artists created new designs that blended Byzantine medallions with Chinese cloud patterns, creating a distinctive style that would influence European decorative arts for centuries. The development of these hybrid patterns required new technical solutions, spurring further innovation in weaving technology. The exchange of textile knowledge transformed both Eastern and Western production methods. Chinese techniques for raising silkworms were gradually adapted to European conditions, while Western mechanical innovations were incorporated into Eastern production. The establishment of silk working guilds created formalized systems for preserving and transmitting this knowledge. The evolution of silk patterns tells a fascinating story of cultural exchange. European designers began creating pattern books that combined Eastern motifs with Western architectural elements. The famous Damascus papers of Venice showed how Eastern patterns could be adapted for Western tastes while maintaining their exotic appeal. The merger of Eastern and Western techniques created entirely new possibilities in textile production. European weavers adapted Chinese methods for creating multiple colored weaves while developing their own innovations in pattern repetition. This technical fusion reached its apex in the development of Lampas weaving, which combined the complexity of Eastern patterns with the efficiency of Western looms. The technological and cultural exchanges facilitated by the silk trade laid the groundwork for the modern global economy. The sophisticated networks of knowledge sharing, technical innovation, and cultural exchange established during this period created patterns of international cooperation that continue to influence global trade and cultural exchange today. The synthesis of Eastern and Western technologies created new standards of technical excellence, while the fusion of cultural aesthetics produced artistic innovations that transcended their origins. This period of intense exchange and innovation demonstrates how commerce can serve as a vehicle for broader civilizational advancement. These developments in technology and culture weren't merely isolated achievements. They represented a fundamental shift in how civilizations interacted and influenced each other. The silk trade created a model for global exchange that went far beyond mere commerce, establishing patterns of cultural and technological transfer that would shape the course of human civilization. The legacy of the ancient silk trade continues to weave its influence into the fabric of our modern world, shaping industries, economies, and cultural exchanges. Let's reflect on these connections and explore how historical patterns echo in today's global dynamics. In fashion, for instance, silk remains a symbol of luxury, with contemporary brands like Hermes and Gucci preserving traditional techniques to maintain exclusivity. Yet, the challenges faced by the modern silk industry, ethical labor practices, and sustainable production, mirror those of its historical counterpart. Designers today, much like their medieval predecessors, blend Eastern and Western aesthetics, combining age-old techniques with cutting-edge innovations. This raises an intriguing discussion. How has the democratization of luxury in the silk trade paralleled the rise of fast fashion today? Shifting our focus to global trade, the parallels between the Silk Road and contemporary commerce are striking. Ancient caravan routes find their modern counterparts in initiatives like the Belt and Road Project, while Venetian maritime networks evolved into today's intricate shipping lanes. Medieval financial tools like letters of credit prefigure blockchain technologies, and merchant guilds have transformed into global trade organizations. Even the market dynamics, price fluctuations, regional specialization, and trade disputes echo across centuries, reminding us that the challenges of globalization are far from new. The concept of industrial espionage, which once revolved around smuggling silkworms, now finds its modern expression in cyber espionage and digital data theft. Governments and corporations alike engage in this high-stakes game, where trade secrets and intellectual property shape competitive advantages. Questions of ethics, international law, and innovation protection arise, urging us to examine parallels. How do physical security measures of the past compare to modern cybersecurity strategies? These themes provoke deeper questions about the future. If the democratization of silk once transformed medieval society, how might the democratization of technology reshape our world today? What lessons from the regulation of the silk trade can be applied to modern fair trade practices? As historical secrets like silk transitioned into widespread commodities, what current technologies might follow a similar path? And how does the cultural exchange of the Silk Road compare to the digital connectivity of our age? To engage further with these ideas, interactive exercises can offer fresh perspectives. Consider creating a timeline to juxtapose events in the historical silk trade with modern trade developments, tracing recurring patterns in market dynamics. Or, analyze case studies of luxury brands still rooted in traditional silk-making techniques, alongside modern supply chain innovations. Such explorations deepen our understanding of the commercial past and its enduring influence on the economic present. Join us at Modern Age Chronicles to uncover more about these historical connections shaping our future. Don't forget to like this video, comment your insights on the parallels between history and modern trade, and subscribe for weekly journeys into the past and its ties to our world today. Together, let's unravel the threads of history that continue to guide the patterns of our modern lives.